Cassian Andor.
This is all off.
Should have counted to 3.
1, 2, 3. Cassian Andor. This is the first time we've all done a group quote before.
Group quote.
First,
And the last
maybe
time.
the last, yeah.
Welcome back to the Star Wars Guys podcast, and thank you for watching, and thank you for tuning in to tonight's Andor review report. What's the name of our show? Of this, not of our podcast.
The
but of this.
Andor review.
No ifs and
Andor.
or buts about this report. Thank you for tuning in to the Star Wars Guys podcast. We are your hosts as always. I am Mike. This is Nate, and you know him well. Uncle. Now that's a name I have not heard since last Wednesday night because I'm a regular listener and I probably subscribed. I probably commented live so I could win. I don't. Any comments?
Ooh. First comment. Interesting.
We'll see who was watching last episode and who gets the free giveaway.
That's true.
Yeah, Nate, Uncle.
Where can they find us?
We got.
Where can they find it? This has been fun.
This has been great. We have talked.
Seems
about
like the
Sound
time
like-
just flies by.
That's how Mike
I
always
love
drops.
it.
And Nate, where can they find us?
Well, we
yeah,
do wrap
that's
up
it.
continually for the last hour.
That's true.
Let's just start the
Maybe
wrap
we
up
start the
now.
wrap up at the beginning. We'll be done. No, we are very excited. If you are watching,
There's a lot to dive into tonight.
yes, we are diving into episode 4 of Andor, which we are very excited to talk about. At least I can't speak for you guys. I'm very excited to talk about.
I'm off a podcast right now.
You're off
I
a
just
podcast.
You
came
got the
off-
post-cast
I just came off
glow.
a
I can
fresh,
see it.
A fresh
See it.
podcast.
Uncle
of
and I
you
are
guys.
on a podcast right now.
mean-
Oh yeah, that's true.
We just do one a day.
Listen, if you guys just one a day, that's all I can take.
I mean,
Call us lazy.
If you guys aren't subscribed, go check out Darth Chaco on YouTube, the High Ground podcast. I was, he's nice enough to have me on there as a guest, and we just dove into this episode of Andor. So I'm prepped. I'm ready to
so
go.
why don't you
He's
just
diving.
do that? We'll just listen and learn.
That's what my plan was. Your mics are both actually muted. If you didn't notice.
I thought I was talking. Darn it.
But yeah, no, we've got a lot to dive into, and
I was miming.
Yeah, this guy. We got a lot to dive into. Episode 4
It's gonna look great. Going
of
back.
Andor.
Yeah.
Yes.
Diving into it.
So
Bittersweet.
as we
Because it ended, I was like, no.
Oh, yeah,
yes.
true.
Okay,
true,
so we
true,
can all
true,
we
true,
can all
true.
agree. We can all agree on that.
True.
So to start off, we like to do this sometimes with just overall, well, not even specifics yet, but overall feelings of the episode. Liked it, loved it,
Want some more of it?
didn't like it, didn't love it. Dude, that was so lame. Like it, love it, didn't like it, didn't love it,
Yeah, we'll work on it.
didn't love it.
Didn't
you
love
know,
this
Cassian
one.
Andor,
Not my
this
favorite.
guy is
Probably.
It's a
Uh,
fantastic show.
It was a
Quite
great
frankly.
show.
Nate, overall thoughts.
Overall thoughts.
Don't get too specific yet. Nate will go, overall thoughts. Well, it's in Luthen's office.
In the 90s.
Well, let's go straight to the Easter eggs.
But overall feelings of the
No,
episode.
overall thoughts. Loved it. Want some more of it. No, I mean I like the pace of the show. It's let me just say this. This is how I wrapped up my final thoughts
We're starting our wrap up.
on the last
Thanks for
on
watching,
the High
everyone.
Ground podcast. It feels very, very Star Wars, but also different than the other shows and things. It's
Yeah,
a great
I
combo
would
of
definitely
both.
agree
You
with that.
you feel Rogue One in there. I mean, I love it, and this episode specifically just continues to progress on Cassian's story, and more than Cassian's story. We get some Mon Mothma. We'll dive into it.
Uncle, overall thoughts?
They are storming an Imperial stronghold. Does it get any better? Like,
Yeah.
As soon as they said that, I guess this is awesome.
And we're getting private
Yes.
conversations of Imperials.
Yeah.
Oh
I've
yeah.
been I mean, again,
So
I was
great.
just the one who warned Nate not to get too specific. We'll get to specifics, but in the episode,
This
we
guy.
get. I stole Uncle's time.
No. No, I'm interested
I'm
to.
No, Uncle, overall thoughts.
Great.
Why did I
Stole
say
Uncle's
great?
time.
I now mine.
As soon as I saw Mon Mothma, I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Love
when
the
Coruscant
vibe.
popped up there.
Love the
Oh,
how we
yeah.
can feel the Empire in any moment just seizing more power, and the arrogance and the smugness.
Mm.
How do they get actors to look so smarmy? Like, how do they do
They're
it? Like,
so
it's just
good
all
at
of
it.
a
Seriously.
sudden, it's the uniform, it's the facial expression. It's like
without
fantastic.
even just not even no dialogue.
They don't
Just
say
the
anything. You
look.
just look at it like, okay.
Just
It's like they line them up and go, okay, Empire, Empire, ooh, Rebellion, Empire. Empire.
You're
clearly
you're a questionable character.
So
You'll be one that
great.
turns. Yeah.
They got 70s idea of what future technology would look like, or
Yeah.
what Star Wars
Yeah.
technology looks like. It's still
And they got
it's
some
the
of
old
those.
version
And
of
you
what
look
they
at
thought would be
What Mon
futuristic.
Mothma, where she's living out, and you're like, oh man, this is nice.
It's just I got. a
And
lot
they
of
still got
thoughts.
some of those 70s stashes and sideburns
It's
and
awesome.
stuff, and the haircuts.
Yeah.
They're nailing the look.
It's so great.
Like you guys, I loved it. This was, if I had to say right now, I think this is my favorite episode of the 4 so far. And I've really enjoyed the other episodes a lot. This episode was, like we just talked about, Uncle kind of teed off with it. It was like you could hear the music wrapping up, and you go, "Don't
try not to
you
look at the
dare!"
time.
Oh,
I
and you
know.
knew it was coming.
Yep.
The music, by
Didn't
the
want the
way.
episode to end. It was so good.
Yeah.
The specifics of we'll get into all the different pockets, different conversations, and everything. But in one episode, we get Cassian being hired to go on this mission by Luthen, because at this point he's not all in on the rebellion. Luthen knows that he's got skills, but he knows that Andor needs to be bought at this
Right,
point to get
right.
to get in. We've got Luthen and Mon Mothma. We've got Mon Mothma and her husband, which we'll definitely get to. We've got the Imperials, Qyburn from Game of Thrones. Nate,
Yeah.
his name on here was Partagaz, Major Partagaz.
Also, was the girl?
The girl was also, yeah, she was in
she's-
one of the faceless.
one of the faceless. Yeah.
I can't remember. Vel.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got
Which she feels the exact same in this.
Yeah, we got Andor going on a
Same
mission. We
thing.
got Imperials trying to climb the ladder, the
Yeah.
politicking between them, talking to each other. I like the one guy telling, literally Imperial directly talking
Steady the
to
ladder
her, saying,
before you
"Stay the
climb
ladder
it."
before you try to climb it," and then you
Yeah.
also got the fat cat Imperials who they're warning. She's literally saying, there's some organized efforts going on here, and he's like, don't bother us with this. Like, we act on concrete details and this and not your superstitions and all the blah blah blah. But it's like they feel so invincible, and I've loved that they're exploring the idea, which I thought they would by the trailers, but I love the idea that on the Imperial side of things, there are people, at least one, she in this episode, this Imperial officer, actually is recognizing what's going on, or at least is starting to see what's going on,
Yeah.
and is trying to warn people about it. And because of everyone's out for themselves, they're like, stay in your little corner here, have a cookie, pat her on the head, and go away.
Right.
But it's great because just like most political wars in real life, there are signs of things coming, and there are signs before the dam finally breaks.
That's
and
right.
the water finally rushes
Yeah.
in and stuff happens. There are usually signs, and there are people on both sides that recognize.
Some
There are
people see
people
it,
on one
some people
side,
don't.
and there are people on the other side that even are like, hey,
Yeah.
we're the big empire, but we're vulnerable
Right.
if we don't do this. And it just takes me back to the evacuate in a moment of triumph. I think you overestimate. Even
Yeah.
moments before Tarkin's
Right.
about to be blown to smithereens, he's like, "There's no way." they
Tarkin
can't
is
do
the-
it."
is like-
Bro.
Tarkin's like the blueprint he's like the perfect
It is.
version.
It's
Yeah.
the
These are all
perfect
little-
power
little-
hungry. These are
Right.
the
Great.
smaller. But yeah,
so
the
great.
swarminess. I think that I think for sure this show already is deserving of Emmy nominations for its wardrobe design.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. The
Its
costume
costume
and design
is unbelievable. How
it's fantastic.
and we'll get into maybe my favorite scene of. There's so many scenes in this, but Luthen's transformation scene.
Oh my
it's
god!
awesome.
Felt like I was
So
watching
good.
it.
He practices his
It felt
getting back into
almost-
character.
It's this. There's so many different. The storytelling in the show has blown me away because what it conveys to us about the character and his situation without a single piece of dialogue, just showing him get ready, it felt like I'm watching Joaquin Phoenix become the Joker, except it's obviously he's not becoming a bad guy. It's
Right.
him putting on this facade, looking in the mirror and smiling to try to put on this act. And yet
Yeah.
he is literally going out to pretend and be this character, to essentially pretend to be the epitome of everything that he hates.
Mm-hmm.
And he
Yeah.
has to go act like everything that he hates,
And be it.
which
Yeah.
is this so smug,
Snobby.
so
Enjoying
just
all the
enjoying
benefits.
all the spoils.
Yeah.
There's like they're not just well off; they're abundantly rich and lavish and can't be bothered by anything. And
Getting
all
visited by politicians to give away
all the talk that's
artifacts
just
and-
like makes you want to
Canto
barf.
bite times 10.
Canto
Yeah.
bite
In the
times
In the heart
10.
of
Yeah.
the
Right
Coruscant,
there.
the middle of everything.
When planets are
Opulence.
being destroyed and
Right.
being pillaged because of the Empire's greed. Yeah, gosh. I mean, I know this is just the intro of our show, but there's so much to
this
dive
guy
into here.
details. This guy.
Love it. Well, see, I noticed I went around, and then I go, okay, great, no details. Now I'll give you all the details.
Now I claim all the details.
Cassian Andor.
Cassian Andor.
No, I mean
Mon
it's,
No.
Just give me the details.
so. Let's do thoughts on getting to see Mon Mothma and her character so far. First episode, we get her in the show.
I was struck by. Okay, you think about rebellion, you think about, standing against evil, but just like the rebellion, as you might call it, in the American Revolution, these were people of power, people of reputation, wealth, and they had to stake it all. They had to put all of it to the side.
Yes.
And literally, when it came to it, we know where Mon Mothma is in episode 4. She's not living that life anymore.
No.
Yeah.
She's moved. I mean, clearly she's given up all of that luxury and everything.
She could not rock the boat at all and live this lavish lifestyle till
No
the end
way.
of her days.
So they're
Yeah.
sacrificing. We can see the trajectory. They're going to sacrifice all of the comforts and all the benefits of this lifestyle to fight for freedom. And they're
Yeah.
going to lay it all on the line.
Mm.
So we're not just talking about a farm boy who has
No.
nothing to lose.
No.
Yeah, right.
Luke's
Who-
a hero,
who-
but he's got nothing
No,
to
she
lose.
even says.
Who also
She says, "Who has more to lose than me?"
Right.
I'm the first domino to fall.
She's
I am
got
the,
the
fir-
first.
I am the
yeah,
one
I'm
putting
one that
the
would take-
most at risk.
And at any second, she could just decide, I'm out, and just live the life
Yeah.
and enjoy it. So I think when
Yeah.
we're reshaping a hero of the rebellion in the form of someone who was willing to give up the height of success to fight for freedom.
Yeah.
I saw it in that moment with her husband. I was like,
Yeah,
I see it
Yeah.
now. She's
Let's
got
talk
everything
about that
and is going to
scene.
give it up.
Yeah.
That scene
That's
to
awesome.
me was so powerful and struck me in so many different ways. About one, her husband was kind of terrible. Like
One.
he's well, first of all, I didn't even
He's
know
just
she was
like-
married.
Yeah,
but he's
right.
but
well, there's a reason probably.
well, I was gonna say
we'll get to that.
the way that
Yeah.
he. Again, I've heard a couple people already say this, but so I don't really want to take credit as an original thought. But this is the way I felt, anyways. But just
Wow,
the apathy,
thief.
He is so apathetic towards
Yeah.
the risks that she's taking in this, and he's like, "Don't invite so and so, but they're great at this party. They'll
But
be
they're
so
good.
fun for us." She's like, "Oh, great! You know
They'll be
that they
fun.
also voted today to do this, and they
Mhm.
still like people are losing water and their
People are
plants being destroyed
starving
because of
because
this
they
person,
cut off
but,
the lanes.
But
Yeah.
put her
Right.
fun. You think they're fun? Okay, cool. Like he
Mhm.
and then he's like, "Oh, must everything be so boring?" Like
yeah.
Like,
she's
dude.
risking her. She will be hung tomorrow
Mm-hmm.
if Palpatine found out what she was doing.
Right.
And he's just like, "Oh, I know you're doing this, but it's like your
It's like you can do your thing, but
your
I'm
big
just-
crusade to save all
just
these people.
passing.
It's inconveniencing my nice wealthy.
It's all
life.
about pleasure and
It
opulence
is.
and
Yeah.
fun. And
But it's just so interesting that I never imagined.
And it happens while he's setting a dinner table and
Yeah.
a nice at their place, real nice.
But I never imagined
Yeah,
that
with his
someone who's
staff.
actually attached to Mon Mothma that intimately,
Yeah.
her husband,
right.
could also have just such a different view or such a like
Yeah.
she's clearly. I
All
mean,
in.
Mon Mothma is the epitome of being. When you think of the rebellion, you think of Mon Mothma, you think of Leia. Like
Right.
those are
Yeah.
those are the heads of the
Yeah.
rebellion
Yeah.
from day one that we experienced the rebellion.
Mhm.
Um,
yeah.
you think of them, and then you think of Han being reluctant, and then he gets involved, and then Luke doesn't know what it is, and then he gets involved. But these are the people who have been all in on it. And then her husband's like, it's just fascinating to me. I never even thought that would be one. I never considered her having a husband. Maybe it doesn't last. But
I'm thinking maybe not.
I have a feeling it doesn't last, or he just.
Yeah.
Many both inside that day, and my terrible husband,
and my husband, and everyone at the dinner table,
and Perrin, my terrible husband. I pushed him off the edge.
That one was on me.
Yeah. Many both inside to bring this.
But Mon Mothma.
No, seriously.
The moment that the words flashed up on the screen, Coruscant, I said yes.
I know, and
because
what was it?
We've never seen Coruscant of this.
What did it say?
period.
Center of the galaxy. What was it again?
Yeah, I don't know, something center of the galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
It is the capital.
Capital of the galaxy or something.
But because we saw so much of Coruscant in prequels, Clone Wars.
That's right.
Yeah.
But I've always been so interested in seeing in the height of the Empire.
No, look
what
at
does
the
it look
Temple
like?
Hold, right?
Yeah,
no, look at the temple. We might get it though.
maybe. What's so great about this show? I think unlike some of the other shows, and this is not even a comparison because I like what the other shows brought. I like that Book of Boba Fett each week. I'd be like, who's gonna show up? Like it was kind of fun for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does feel like this show doesn't need that more than ever. Would it make total sense time period wise that Ian McDermott as Palpatine could end up making an appearance during the show? This totally. Mm-hmm. But also, is it something that every single moment I'm like, is Palpatine gonna show up? Is Palpatine like?
No,
I really
not
haven't
at
even
all.
thought of it.
No,
No, I haven't thought of
because
it at all.
I also think I can tell you right now, as much as I love Palpatine and Ian McDermott, that if he is not in this show whatsoever, and they continue telling the story the way they are, with these other, I mean, they don't need to show me Tarkin. They don't need to show me any. If they do, that'd be awesome.
Even Bail, that'd be cool, but we
it'd
don't.
be cool.
I feel like
but
they're not going to.
No, I feel like
and I
they're
kind of
not.
like that they're comfortable enough that they feel like they don't have to rely on that.
Yeah,
like
I agree.
I think
It's
it would make
so
sense to
good.
maybe hear the voice.
Yeah, I mean,
in
he's
some
clearly
setting, like,
As intercom message to the.
but not as like. It
No.
wouldn't be in like. See my power. It wouldn't be that. It would be.
It's not.
Some setting where
He's
right.
not gonna have
don't know.
officer come in here and what did you say about this?
I am the Senate.
What did you
Right.
say about this Cassian Andor? Like I don't think that's
No.
way below him. He's not thinking
not
about
even
that.
on the radar.
But don't get me wrong. If Ben Mendelsohn as Krennic showed up, that'd be awesome. But I'm also not like, we're like in other shows. It did
When's
feel
he gonna
like
show up? When's he gonna show up?
it feels like they have to do this, or it feels like this is going to come. This is like great. I love that I have to have on my phone here a list
my
of some of the
goodness.
new characters just
This
based on
guy's taking notes these days.
Well, no, this
guy.
was an
Plan
article
ahead.
someone wrote that said introducing some of the new characters from episode 4. So like I have on here Vel Sartha, cool. Karis Nemec. I have Lieutenant Supervisor Blevin. And I'm even like, wait, who was that? I love they have all these Imperials. I don't even know who they are yet.
Yeah.
But they immediately give off the swarminess, give off the smugness, the arrogance, the social hungry climbing the ladder, the political, career driven.
Let's talk
I
about
love
that
it.
for a second, because what is like? You touched on it a little bit, but what are your thoughts on Well, two things, I guess. One, the Empire, actually going to what was the planet? What was the planet where all the Cassian stuff went down? Basically, them showing up and disciplining and say this is now under the Imperial control.
Aldani.
Aldani. Yep.
There it is.
Wait, oh, you mean the previous? You mean the original planet that's now under? You talking about where Lutheran and Andor escaped?
Yeah.
Or where they went to?
No, they escaped.
Oh, they escaped. That was.
Is that Frex's?
I'm gonna say Frexit. Like
anyway,
Frex's.
we can look it up, but
Fred?
I like.
I'll glance at it.
What are your thoughts on the Empire?
Gosh,
like,
I'm butchering
because we knew
names.
this was the progression of things, and it seems like it's very intentional.
Phoenix?
Because the Empire is not just like, an officer shows up, they discipline the 3 sector that was controlling them, but it's not just.
How about the guy who's like, I wasn't even involved?
Yeah, exactly.
I loved him with the mustache. I wasn't even there.
But it seems because it's
Told
the
him not to do
Empire.
anything. I didn't do anything.
Because it's the Empire, it doesn't feel like, you guys were wrong, so we're stepping in. It's like, they're disciplining them, but they were just waiting for mistakes to be made so that they can step in and be like, now this is under our control.
Like
Let me show you why it needs to be under our control, so that now they're like, oh yeah, you're right. Things went wrong. It should be under. So it's like they waiting for this to almost prove why they need the Empire to come in and secure the place. And it's like, otherwise, because they could have done that before all that happened and just moved in and be like, yeah, this is now under our control. But they didn't. They wait intentionally, so it's almost like they want them to buy into the idea of like, we're going to make it a better place.
We're going to fix all the stuff.
Yeah.
Ferrex.
Exactly.
Ferrex. That was the name of. Sorry, I was trying to think of the planet.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys kind of got that vibe or what you think
Ferrex.
of that scene, but that was kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah, for sure. I loved that they were like, we're going to essentially seize control, and it's
well, they've set the tone.
And then
for
Karn is like, but I was so upset. Mommy! He goes to his mom.
Why does it remind me of Stewart from Mad TV? I don't want to say. Remember that? I don't want to say.
That's good.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing.
I was thinking it explains what's happening all over the galaxy. They've set
is.
the tone
Yes.
for like, okay, it makes sense that they would have corporations
They have it in place already.
Exactly.
step in and run everything, and then as they're able to
when things go
move,
wrong, they're like, all right,
advance,
we're going to go there, we're going to
as
go
they
there.
have people in place and things go wrong and they rise to the level, they step in and go, we're going to fix it.
Yep.
And they become the
Exactly.
saviors rather than the.
Exactly.
It's fascinating. It's
So-
really cool.
Can we talk about this fact that I kind of feel like a fool for not recognizing this last episode.
Oh,
Now,
man.
hear me out. Maybe you are.
Was I the only one? Roast me, internet.
Who's the
Roast
greater
me.
fool?
What?
Clip this out. You can
I'm gonna pretend like I
clip
do
this
it.
out.
No matter
roast
what it
me,
is.
internet. Roast me for this. Was I the only one who didn't recognize that Marva's name was Marva Andor? That's her actual name. I was looking it up, and that in this episode,
Marva Andor, because that's not
Clem.
his name.
And
Clem.
or.
Because
Clem's name was
Clem.
was the father.
Yeah, Clem.
Yeah.
And that he
And that's his-
in
that's
this,
his name.
He
His
said
dad.
Clem, but his name
or
is.
his would be his.
But you look up on Wikipedia, Clem Andor, and so I had never even thought like, oh, Cassian Andor.
that's not
like,
his birth.
like
name.
I know that Casa, but even Andor was nothing. He just literally took his parents' name.
Right. He was
Yeah.
taking
I didn't even think
Interesting.
about that when it just makes the
Interesting.
connection to Marva when Marva's sad and she's crying.
That's
That she's
it's-
not just like his guardian looking out for. Like
no,
he literally took
it's her kid, essentially.
her
kid, but like
family,
he even took her,
yeah.
even to this day. Not to this day. Spoilers.
To
if
this
you don't
day.
know.
to
this
that
day.
day.
To that
He,
day.
he kept it. He didn't
Kept
go
the
back
name.
to.
He never. It
That's
wasn't
true.
like, well, now. you
No,
know,
it's I am
I'm
Cassian
on my.
Andor.
He like he's
wanna be who
Cassian
I
Andor.
was.
Or is he
Yeah.
Cassian Ender?
Cassian Andor.
But yeah, no, you're right.
But it's
Clemander.
that.
And then utilizing the
more-
father's name as the code name.
So the reason when I heard Clem in this one, I thought, wait, Clem, that sounds
sounds
familiar.
familiar.
And then I went back and
I didn't
was
make the
looking at
connection with Clem, but I
Yeah.
did.
I didn't recognize his name was
Realized
Clem
Marva.
Andor though.
Yeah.
That's kind of the piece that I
Yeah.
didn't recognize was that Marva was Marva Andor and Clem Andor. So yeah. But it just to me, it's
Don't
just
feel like a fool.
don't.
Yeah. No.
They're-
Foolish.
They've introduced.
more the fool? The
fool, the fool who follows him. We've introduced how many
Andor.
new characters and names and
I know.
places and
Tony Gilroy's told us it'd be
mean-
200 named characters, and I feel like we've already got
we've
100.
already got them.
I know. We've already got them all.
It's
Lock,
insane.
lock it in.
Well, the scope of it too. We talked about
It's
the volume,
so
but
big.
the-
I
Yeah.
love it.
I mean, I like study film and stuff. I can't always tell what's
No.
now anymore, but
Yeah.
it looked like Aldani that's a location. It looks
Yeah.
on location to me.
It did. It looked
Oh,
really
that
out in the
was-
wilderness.
shots.
that was-
Yeah.
Some of the. It's got to be.
It was
They took
Legolas and
It looked like it.
was the Fellowship. They're running across New Zealand.
They went to Stellar's homeland and shot it.
They did.
somewhere in the greens of Iceland or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, but anyway, just the scope of it looks so big. It's
Looks
Yeah,
huge.
it is big.
wide angle shots
Very.
and mountains and
It's so
just-
good.
Oh man.
and I love the. You guys maybe feel this too. I love the sparse nature of things that we take for granted. Like you watch one of the things that they did in the prequels is TIE fighters are everywhere, ships are everywhere.
Yes.
Now we get a
Oh,
TIE fighter.
gosh.
It's like
And they're hiding, and you're like, oh, the
When
sound.
that TIE fighter came over the ridge, it
it's
was
like
the
we've
coolest
seen.
thing.
Yeah.
The first
It was.
first time.
It really
totally
did remind
was.
me, though.
Kind
I'm not the Lord of the Rings reference. It really did remind me of like the Nazgul flying over and
Right.
Gollum and
Got to take cover.
Sam and Frodo are like hiding. They're like getting in it's flying over, and
the
here you
sound of it.
hear this flying.
It
and-
was
oh
though.
my gosh.
Sometimes
so
in
awesome.
one of the big movies, or when and this is not even a shot at. I love Rise of Skywalker, but when there's 50 Star Destroyers and they all got these giant things, you take it for granted sometimes.
Yeah.
This is a TIE fighter comes over the ridge, and I went, TIE fighter. And I
I've
watched
never
it, and
seen them.
it makes the noise, and I go, oh, I watched it all the way across the sky, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh,
I
I
know
saw a
it.
TIE fighter. But if there had been 100 of them, I'd be like, whoa, take cover.
Yeah.
But it's
Nobody talks about the Force. Nobody talks about the Jedi.
nobody talks
Yeah.
about it. And
It's not even. It's just this. It's just.
And as a viewer, I'm not
fringe
sitting there
religious
going,
movement, you know?
where's the Jedi going to show up? When's
No,
he? Yeah,
no,
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 it's
no.
it's.
No.
I'm completely. It is such a different. I know people talk about like it's different feel. Definitely is different feel, but also the writing is different. Like the dialogue is very different than.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It feels, which Tony Gilroy is a movie. He's written a lot of movies, and that's stuff he
Yeah.
did. The Rogue One. He did Born Supremacy. I think it's Born Supremacy. Is
Mhm.
which one he did.
Come.
But because of that, the writing feels like a movie writing too. Like the dialogue
Yeah.
feels like a movie. There are
It does.
things. There are certain things that I'm like, oh, I think this can happen. Oh, no, I don't. Like it feels like, oh, on a television show that would happen, but it
Right.
didn't. Because like there's not a lot of television-esque deliveries, and oh, well, then here's this cheeky response, then here's this. It's like, oh, that's an interesting phrase, or that's an interesting way to say that, or that's Monmouth, that's an interesting response. The husband, that's odd that you're like, oh, can it ever not be boring? Does it
Mhm.
always have to, or does it ever have to be so
Yeah.
boring? Like, well, like everything keeps surprising me.
Yeah.
But then also the pacing of it does feel like episodes 1 through 3 were a movie.
Yeah.
And now this one, we talked about this ending
Right.
being so abrupt and feeling it
Little
coming and then
cliffhanger-ish.
going, because it feels like where if you're staying on the Lord of the Rings reference, like it feels like, oh, yep, that's because we're just a third of the way through this. Because remember, each
Yeah.
of the 3 episodes are kind of its own arc.
Yeah.
But it does feel like, oh, I'm excited because we're starting.
Yeah.
We just started the second movie of the
Mhm.
Andor trilogy, and I love because of that though. It does feel like you can just feel the spot that it's in. Like the first episode 3 concluded its kind of arc, and then now we're on to this next journey.
Right.
And this was setting all the pieces in place, and it makes me excited for
Yeah.
the middle piece that's coming next, and then the big finale of the episode 6, and then on to episode 7. But I just love it because I think it builds with the week by week release. It even these cliffhanger endings. Mando is both connected and also individualized, where each Mando starts a mission and finishes a mission in the same episode.
Mm-hmm.
And then they point him somewhere else. And then
And
he
goes-
goes to a plant, starts a mission, ends a mission.
Right.
But it's not Mando is about to, pick up the dark saber and he swings it and it goes black. And then they cut to it. It never ends like that. That's just
No.
because that's not the feel of that show. This
Right.
has a little bit of that in it where it's like, no, I gotta wait a week for
Yeah, this
which is a
episode
great way to
specifically,
continue
yeah.
Oh my
continue
goodness.
building.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
that the feeling, the excitement for
Yeah.
it is just through the roof.
We're gonna see a garrison of stormtroopers
Yeah.
coming.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I can't
With
wait.
I
with
know.
this kamikaze
Or-
mission, suicide
yeah.
mission they would call it.
Awesome.
There's a lot coming.
I wonder when we'll see some of the clone armor, and if that's present time, or if that's a little like flashback, or if those
Oh,
are
yeah.
still clone armor that are stormtroopers, but
Mhm.
they're clones, but they're
We're moving.
still they're using
They're transitioning.
yeah
They're
transitioning
transtroopers.
to stormtroopers.
Transtroopers.
Yeah,
They're
Right.
gosh.
yeah.
There's-
I don't know when we'll.
I saw online some people. Did you hear anyone talking about debate now over Cassian's age?
Oh
You
yeah,
know
I
that
saw
is?
the timelines all kind of.
Oh, really?
Well,
Apparently, we talked about this on the last podcast when I was with Darth Chaco, and he had mentioned.
well, do you know why they're talking about that StarWars.com posted?
That
they have a
timeline-wise,
resource-
he's supposed to be like 21 in this show.
Well, they have a resource guide.
Yeah.
Well, I think that
something like
people
that.
are people are questioning how old he's supposed to be because apparently StarWars.com posted an official resource
They retcon or
guide to help explain a couple of things that they thought maybe are a little bit.
Yeah.
They explained, I guess, one of the symbols in one of the flashbacks. People were asking about a separatist symbol on either it was on a trooper or on like their basically when Casa is a kid.
It was when Cassian
and apparently this is supposed to predate Amelia. It's supposed to tell us this is not just pre-Order 66, but this is pre-Attack of the Clones or pre-Clone Wars. I think is like when the pre-separatist symbol.
Wow.
So then immediately you're supposed to go, wait. Cassian in Rogue One says he's been in the fight since he was 6 years old. But what fight does that mean? It doesn't mean the rebellion. He means he's been caught up in the war in some sense, and that his planet was ravaged and all these things, which we didn't talk about in previous episodes. But Cassian's planet is like Lord of the Flies.
Yeah.
We never saw a single adult.
Oh, no.
No.
We never saw a single adult. It's all children.
He said it's like Lord of the
It is.
Flies.
It really is, though. I mean, like, the leaders are like a 12-year-old or something like that with a bunch of like 8-year-olds and 9-year-olds falling around, or like a 13-year-old.
Lord of the Flies.
It is, though. It's
Why
Lord
is
of the
that so
Flies.
funny?
But like, also, the reason I'm thinking Lord of the Flies, though, is upon rewatch, because I rewatched it again this week, that first episode, their reaction to planet or ships crashing, and one of them's like, oh yeah, and it's like saying like help. One of the kids is saying that, and then they
no.
It makes it like, are they marooned on this planet? Like, have they been left there? Like, has the planet been ravaged?
Yeah.
They've just
I heard that's a spinoff.
and they're there. All of the adults have been killed,
Mm-hmm.
or something happened where these kids now are like waiting for people to come back and get them. Because I didn't catch that the first time. Of one of the kids going like and like whistling,
trying to
like,
get
it, and then they go no. Like, we gotta first scope it out. But I can't believe I didn't bring that up in previous episodes as far as the Lord of the Flies thing. But now it just adds a whole nother dimension to his backstory. But the reason people were asking that is like, wait, if he's supposed to be this at that time, he's supposed to be that child before that. How many years now? We got 5 years before Battle of Yavin. And apparently in one of the old resource books, which I think this is maybe the retcon thing, they had initially said in Rogue One, not in the movie, but in one of the books describing Rogue One and the characters, that he was supposed to be around 25 or 26 in Rogue One, which would make him around 21
in
this.
Yeah.
Which I think Diego Luna is older than 21, but again, there's it looks great. He shaved his beard.
He shaved his beard, made him look younger. Yeah.
But
I mean,
Stellan Skarsgård is
Stockard Channing was like 40 when she made Grease. She was in high school.
that is definitely true.
How was that? That's a random thought. Anyway,
No, but she
I was
is,
just reading it the other day. She was like 40.
Yeah.
She was
supposed
like
to be high
40.
school.
Yeah, it's
It's a
You can
different.
do
It's
stuff.
a different time.
this. I mean, if the whole thing is to capture the essence of the 70s,
Yeah,
if Grease can do it, why can't
absolutely.
Yeah.
That's my rule of life. If
Is it?
Grease can do it,
If Grease, if Grease's cars can fly at the end out of nowhere, why
Okay.
can't?
you know what?
Speaking
they,
of
Grease
cars.
is the word, man.
Speaking of cars, how about
Yeah.
that? Mon Mothma's pulling up.
Oh
man.
man,
Man,
style with a new driver.
new driver.
So that scene, she
like a
goes
Lincoln.
in, she's talking
Yeah, let's break it down. Let's
she's
get
talking to Luthen. I love their little because they start talking. At first, I'm like, wait, how close are they? Do
What,
they
is
not?
she not knowing?
Yeah,
He
they're
does.
just-
I'm like,
here's
are
what
they
they're doing.
fooling
They're
each
just-
other? And
they're
then
playing the
I got
game.
another piece back here. Let's go
Right.
back and
They're
can you not come through for me? And then like all of a sudden they
straight,
just drop
straight
the
to
facade.
business. Yeah.
And she's like, no, and he even says like, oh, I would never question that you're not trying. You're like, I know what you're doing.
Mhm.
And then they get through all this, and then come back out
New
here.
driver. It's like, oh, what's the matter? You got a new driver. Oh,
and
yes,
the
that's why.
assistant. His assistant
Assistant knows.
comes in clutch and
Yes.
tries to distract the
Right.
driver. It's like,
Yeah.
well, I'll show you something. He's like, no, I'm not interested.
But that's
She's
why
like,
he
come on
asks-
over here.
So he asked the assistant,
Wouldn't
new
hurt to
driver, and it's like he's saying,
Yeah.
it's like, don't recognize.
And she's even
Mhm.
like, yeah, they're
She's
watching
drilling.
me. They're watching me everywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Love
since
it.
we're on it, let's get to the scene here. He is the collector from Marvel.
The collector.
He is
Which
collecting
funny.
artifacts from everywhere.
Yeah.
And if you
Benicio del Toro, by the way.
yeah,
It was the collector
right.
in Marvel.
In Marvel,
And those,
yeah. maybe
which it's obviously it's our guy DJ.
Star Wars. Yeah, DJ. But going
Big
through
D.
the collection, there's a bunch of Easter eggs in there. I don't know if you guys were able to pause or look at anything online.
If not, go to Nate's
I
Twitter
haven't looked
feed.
Go to
I
my
haven't-
Twitter thread. I posted a Twitter thread that people
Oh.
have been liking. That's a bunch of the
Nice.
the Easter eggs. But did you catch any, or is this new?
Well, I don't think I caught any of the visuals. I
Yeah.
didn't look them up,
Yeah.
but we talked about.
I mean,
Scarif was kinda cool.
I saw a bunch of people talking about it too, so that's where I found most of them. But I did notice a couple things.
Saw there was some
Right off the
armor
bat.
there. Saw there's some
saw
armor on the
two
table.
things I
the armor I
recognized right
noticed
away
right
was
like,
Yes.
wait a minute, that looks.
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Two things I recognized right away without going back and like, all right, let me look at all these artifacts.
Mhm.
One was the Mando armor.
Yeah.
Mandalorian armor. I noticed that because it wasn't obviously Mando, but
Right.
it was the same.
Which
it was
obviously means that Lutheran
was
has a
his.
third personality. He is also Mandalorian.
Mandalorian. Yeah. These are all artifacts he uses for different personalities.
This is
and
now
stuff.
Moon Knight. He's now got 3 personalities. He's just switching.
You're finding
it.
out he has
Yes.
more. He can't control them.
He can't
No,
stop.
and then the other one I noticed was World Between Worlds.
I saw that you posted that. That there was the symbols of the hand outlines, the
The
etchings of the
broken
drawing of
wall
the broken
from
wall
the
door
portal.
Really? I
from
didn't see that.
Rebels.
From Rebels.
I
Have
saw
to
that
go
you
look.
posted that.
I posted it and I posted the side by side. It's not identical. So some of it could be. Some of it could
Not
be.
really Easter
it-
egg.
Not really Easter eggs,
No.
just regular eggs. Just regular eggs.
It's clearly a reference to that. But what I was gonna say is it could just be because it's the live action adaptation of the drawing and
Yeah,
the
we'd
artwork,
be looking a little
or it could just
Why
be a
is the
different.
Inquisitor's
a
head
different
not as
portal.
pointy?
Yeah, or it could be a different
One of those
portal. Is what I'm
things.
saying.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
trash.
Remember when that was a debate?
We go from that to trash.
Yeah, portal or the head.
Yeah, it
Wow,
could
I
be.
have
Could
to
be
go
one
back
of those
and
or it
things.
could be a
that.
different door, different thing.
Or it's
because
clearly just an homage to, or it could be
To
just it's
World
just
Between
like
Worlds.
the
Yeah.
there's a number of little artifacts in there. They're like, oh, it's not identical to this, but it's supposed to make you think of this
Yeah.
thing or make you.
And
think
there
of
was a handful. I'm actually going to pull up my thread because
Yeah,
I
I'm interested in that.
there was a lot of stuff here. I didn't even catch everything. These are just things that I had noticed going around. But the Mando armor, I noticed a Calicori, which
I saw you
is
posted
a
that.
direct, which is Hera
Hera's-
Syndulla. They had the wooden carving, like
Yep.
the T-shaped thing. It's
Yeah.
a family heirloom.
Right.
Now this one wasn't wooden. It looked like it was like made of metal or gold or something, but it was very clear reference to Hera and the Syndulla, family heirloom, the
And
Calicori.
that, that's I guess referencing. He's got things from different cultures,
Different culture,
planets,
exactly.
histories.
It's a picture
And
of what Nate's
I
talking
wanna-
about.
Oh, yeah,
similar
yeah.
to-
And I want to touch on that what you're
Yeah.
saying too. Another one was the World Between Worlds pieces, very clearly, reference to it's the broken stones, World Between Worlds. Star Killer armor. So Star
Yes.
Killer, Force Unleashed, Sam Witwer comes in. Star Killer's armor is actually in there, and I saw people were going probably the most crazy about this because they're
Wow.
like, "Is Star Killer canon?
Wow, yeah.
Is it official?" But
Interesting.
and I even saw Sam Witwer made a tweeted at somebody and said, "I told you I was kind of in it."
That's funny.
But very clearly reference to an homage to his character and that. But then there were others too that I saw other people talking about. And Darth Jocko mentioned when I was on his podcast. Was you can see Wookiee armor. So you can see Wookiee head plates. So armor from Kashyyyk.
Oh wow.
And from so obviously the battle with Order 66 and battle on Kashyyyk.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think of some other ones. There were maybe a few others I might be missing. But going off what you said, they are different cultures. So what it's doing is, and I thought Chaco nailed it perfectly when I was on his podcast, was I'm taking this from him, credit to him, but he mentioned it's a great reference to what the Empire is doing across the galaxy. These are things that are being found now and gathered in his place.
Taken.
But it's exactly it's referencing of here's another culture destroyed. Mandalorians, here's their armor. You don't just find that laying around.
No.
Destroyed. It's showing these different cultures that the Empire's just wrecked and they've taken over.
Yeah.
And now here's these remains of of artifacts and heirlooms and things that are very valuable to these cultures
That's
that are now
Thrawn,
just
that's why he had that.
yeah.
Same thing. Yeah.
That's it.
Exactly. And I thought
Mhm.
as soon as he said that, I was like, that is exactly what it is. It's showing these different cultures and
Yeah.
referencing how much the Empire has actually taken over of these different cultures. And I thought that was very interesting. But
Very interesting.
so yeah,
No,
if you
that's-
guys haven't seen it, I posted a Twitter thread if you want to look at it. But there's a ton
That's cool.
of videos and things that will show you the side by side pictures. And
That's
of
awesome.
These Easter eggs, which is really cool. But
And what a great place to do it. Fits in that scene.
Yeah.
It's not like just for the sake of putting it in there. It
yeah.
says something.
And everybody said Andor had no Easter eggs and no cameos and all this stuff. And here in one episode, there's all.
They mentioned Scarif.
They
Yeah,
mentioned
We heard
Scarif. Yeah.
Talking
Right.
about reinforcements for Scarif, the resources, and you're like, interesting. We know what happens eventually in
Mhm.
Scarif.
Yeah.
Tied a bit to Cassian Andor himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exciting. There's so much. Lutheran? I think that Stellan Skarsgård could be and should be nominated for an Emmy for this show.
He is unbelievable.
He is
Yeah,
just
it's been
acting
great.
When he is
tail
talking,
off.
I am just like I'm locked. Well, Mon Mothma I thought was fantastic. I mean, the
Genevieve
whole dynamic
O'Reilly,
between those
Genevieve
two.
O'Reilly was
The
fantastic. as Mon
dynamic between
Mothma.
those two in this scene was
The-
my favorite
the
part
Imperials
of the whole
were
episode.
great. Imperials were great. Cassian. We didn't get a ton of Karn this week, but I think
No, but I want to know
I
what your
think
guys' thoughts
Karn
are
is-
on his where's his
I
story
think
going.
Karn is very interesting. I heard Ken Knapsack on Force Center mention this, and I think he nailed it. That Karn in our first 3 episodes is very interesting because he's not the super power hungry type of a villain that we've
No,
seen
he's
in
actually
the past.
being disciplined and
That
told what to do.
Almost every one of his lines, this is exactly what Ken said, and I think he nailed it. Almost every one of his lines and things he said are things that are generally said by good guys.
That's right.
Yeah.
Like
These
we
are
have to
casualties.
protect
I said that-
them. We have to do.
Yeah.
You said too. Like, we have to protect them. We have to do this. We can. No one stands alone. But it is the lack of the greater good. But it's all in service of the Empire, in service of putting our boots on.
He's
on
a
the,
yeah.
It's
He's
we
a lost-
Can't let this.
He's a lost stars case. His
a lost stars
mindset
case.
is I'm doing what's right. We had casualties. We need to go make things right. They killed Cassian killed 2 of our people he's wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And in his mind he's like we need to go make this right. We need to go hunt him down. We need to go capture him. So he's in the mindset of what we're doing, and then it just goes too far. But his mindset is, oh yeah, I'm on the right side. I'm doing the right
And
thing.
of course, after Luthen blows up the little land speeder
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
getaway
yeah.
fake out getaway thing, and it kills even more of their guys. You know
Yeah.
that he then is like, he wants
all in.
revenge.
Yeah.
But then immediately now
He's
they're
crying to
seized,
mama.
and now they're taking their corporation was seized by the Empire as far as control.
Yeah.
So it is interesting. I'm very interested to see where Bix plays a role in this, where
Karn.
Karn plays a role in this, where Marva, any of these other, like some of these characters from the first 3 episodes, I don't think it's the last we see of
They're
some
still
of them.
on planet.
Yeah, I don't think it's the last we see of some
No.
of them. I don't think maybe
Give me more Bix. Give me
I
more
mean, I
Karn.
think that Bix. Well, I think we'll get more Bix. Maybe we don't get as much Marva because that does feel like maybe that was his
Yeah.
kind of send off.
Mhm.
Like I don't
Yeah.
know if she has a big role in the rebellion.
Yep.
It's interesting the way that they mentioned Saw. We haven't seen Saw Gerrera yet, but
Right.
they
They
mentioned
did
Saw.
mention
They
him.
mentioned what would happen if you fell asleep and Saw Gerrera found you.
Right.
So I like that even then we get a little taste of even other people who are against the Empire, because we do know that eventually, what we've seen in Clone Wars and what we know by what happens in Rogue One is that by the time we get to Rogue One, the rebellion has decided that Saw is so dangerous that he needs to be put in the ground, and that's why they send.
Yeah.
That's why Cassian and Jin go there to talk with him, but he's going there to end him. it's just interesting at this point. He's already so far that like, yeah, Saw's extreme. Just if Saw found you asleep, he'd kill you.
Yeah, and I think it's
Let's call it. Whoa.
It's funny you mentioned that too because
Whoa.
I get those vibes from Luthen too. I'm
Luthen snapped at Kel.
Snapped.
Kel? What's her name?
Snapped at
Vel.
her.
Vel. Kel.
Snapped
Keaton and
at
Kel.
her. Yeah.
Snapped at Vel. Where like these like listen to me, and I was like, whoa. That was again
It's
one
like,
of the
look at
moments.
me or
I'm like,
something,
I'm like, Stellan Skarsgård is just his acting is great. Where he's
Yeah.
telling her all this stuff, and then she's mouthing back and talking to him. And
Yeah.
it's just.
He's got
He's-
teeth.
Yeah. His character, and I want you
I
guys,
hope he at least lasts through this first
I
season.
know. I want your guys'
I hope,
thoughts on this because
he's not there around, or he's not around in Rogue One.
I know.
I do think
know.
that he lives a dangerous life from what
He's
we've seen.
I don't think he's
He's-
gonna. Yeah.
Could be hung by the
He's
Emperor.
so
for all we
far
know.
he's the
Mhm.
teacher and mentor for Andor at
Right.
this point of getting him pushing
It's a
him to
dangerous
rebellion,
game
which is
playing the
You know
you
the
high.
see
role of
those
the mentor,
characters
doesn't
and
Yeah.
when
just
Karn
hoping.
came back,
Yeah.
I actually said to myself, "Is it possible that he turns?"
that he turns.
On
I've
the
seen
Empire.
I've seen people throwing that around.
Because people, I mean, he's maybe out for his own sake, but to be humiliated like that and embarrassed like that, and also to fail so badly and to watch,
because there's two
them-
approaches.
yeah,
It's he looks at the casualties and can immediately get aggressive and blame Andor and want to go, I'm going to go hunt down Cassian on my own. Or he can look at it and be like, they told me not to do it. I was wrong. And now more people are dead. And then he starts figuring out the Empire now is coming in and pushing me aside. So there are a little.
I'm conflicted about his emotional state.
Yeah.
What he's showing us. Was he showing us fear? Was it disappointment? Was it disillusionment? Was it sadness? Was it anger? I'm not sure what we were seeing.
No, he's complex.
It's like I don't.
I know.
It's hard to get a read on
They're
him.
standing in front of them and they're bawling him out, and it's.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. And then he goes home to his mom, and
His mom slaps him and then hugs him.
so
Yeah.
his mom is
Yeah,
not a fan
yeah.
of the empire or of the corporation,
Yeah.
because she obviously thinks he made a mistake by going off and
Yes.
serving these people.
It sounds like he hasn't kept in touch with her either.
Right.
Yeah.
Or she hasn't
Shows-
seen
or hasn't
him,
seen
or
him,
just
like, yeah.
left, or I don't know. I'm
She's
just
upset at him for leaving,
Yeah.
it looks like.
I'm with you. I don't. He's an interesting
they don't
character.
look wealthy.
And part of what I love about the
So-
show.
He kind of feels like he's in between both, maybe. Like
Yeah.
I'm still very upset. I'm not going to run towards the rebellion. These are the
No.
guys I'm trying to.
They
They
just
still
killed these
killed
guys.
my
They're bad
friends.
guys.
Yeah, these are the guys. I am actually upset at the Empire because they're not recognizing how bad this thing is that the rebellion is doing.
Yeah. True.
And that we're not going to stand up for our corporation.
He's more aligned with the imperial officer who sees the
True.
problem.
Yes, like
I
it feels like
figure-
he now has problems with both sides.
Yeah.
like that. I'm not with the rebellion. This is I'm upset. I want revenge against
He's a
them.
separatist.
But then I go to
Here's
the
a thought,
Empire
right?
and they're like,
I got
there
an
you go,
idea.
little boy.
Yeah.
We got it from here. And he's like, well, now he kind of feels like he might defect. Like he's
Why
Yeah.
would
out of that.
so the rebellion
Yeah.
has spies? Why wouldn't the empire have spies?
Well, I
Why
think they
wouldn't
do.
Yeah.
They say they have spies in the Senate now a lot
They have
more than
spies
they're.
in the
Well,
Senate.
why couldn't
some of those
they?
drivers.
Why couldn't Karn be that for them? An
Yeah.
agent?
Oh, true.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Infiltrate the rebellion.
I don't know how he would
Yeah.
ever connect
Ooh,
up with
yeah.
Rafia and
Yeah.
Liz, or I don't know.
I don't know. I
Maybe
think
get an agent Callus,
Or maybe-
but he's
Oh,
actually bad though the whole time
yeah.
instead of actually going good.
Wow. Yeah.
Remember
I just-
Callus in Rebels?
Callus.
He's like as bad as they come for a while.
Yeah, he
Like,
is.
you think like, oh, there's no chance this guy would ever. And then he
Who
actually
knew?
goes
Zep-
good.
Zep
He
lets him
actually
live.
Right.
he actually goes good. Not the Hux version of I'm not with the resistance. I just hate Kylo Ren.
Right.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not with you guys. I just am
Yeah.
ratting on him because I want Kylo to die.
Yeah.
He's so like Hux, you're
Right.
still despicable.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, Callus is
Maybe
actually like,
worse.
no, I've realized the error of my ways. You guys, you
Yeah.
know, that's because Zeb shows
I
him
don't-
kindness when they're stranded
Yeah, I heard
together,
that.
and
It's
that
a good
whole
I love
arc.
that I don't know.
Yeah.
I love that I don't know.
And I'll be. It'll either way. It'll be.
Yeah,
I could see him going deeper. I could see
Yeah.
him maybe pulling back.
Yeah.
What do we think about the mission?
Yeah,
All
I
the
wanted
guys
to get to
not
that.
trusting.
I think it makes sense
yeah, I
because
mean, like,
they
they
don't
clearly-
know.
they're like,
they clearly
We've
don't
been
know.
working on this for a year, and
They're gonna
we're
throw
3
him
days
in the
away,
middle,
and
in the middle of the
now,
mission.
Now
We got a
Clem
new
is coming
guy?
in 3 days before, and they're like, by the way,
Yeah.
here's your stack of homework to study throughout the
Right.
night. Good luck.
Yeah.
Don't get us all killed.
I do like when they share
love
the
it.
plan they've been working on. He's like, "This is stupid.
Yeah, it does.
It's never going to work."
They're working on it for a year.
What, you haven't even heard the whole thing.
Yeah,
yet.
you
I
just
know,
walked
and then
in.
they mentioned
Give
the
me a minute.
That's when
mentioned
the other guys
the,
go, "Oh, I told you you shouldn't have invited him." Such a buzzkill. We've been working on this for a
What
year,
a
and he comes in
loser.
immediately
They're
and
like,
goes, "That is a
We
problem."
hadn't thought of that.
Yeah. No, how about mentioning the ceremony or whatever it is that's going on?
Right.
That's what's
Oh,
that's
yeah, the
what's gonna
ceremony.
allow them to
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
be more
To do it.
discreet.
With the
Sneak
meteor
with the
shower.
meteor shower. I thought that
I want to
felt-
see that play out.
that
That's gonna
felt
be cool.
very new Star Wars novel-esque, which I love. Like that felt
did.
like the Jedi-esque or something like that.
right.
With the
Yeah.
meteor shower, we're gonna be able to do this.
It
How with the
did.
skies.
Use the
It-
cover
it
and
felt like
get
I was
out.
reading a book, but I
It
was
did.
I was hearing it read to me. I was like,
Right.
oh, I'm following this very
Mhm.
well, and this
Yeah.
this sounds something like I would read
Mhm.
in one of these novels that I love.
Yeah. No, I
That's
agree.
awesome.
Kind of made me remind me a little bit of Rise of Skywalker too.
Yeah,
The festival.
festival. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I think. I mean, the plans. It's not gonna go
The way we
as
think.
planned.
Yeah.
It's not.
Not
not
gonna
gonna
go the way you think.
I got a bad feeling about this. No, it's not. I mean, something's gonna go wrong, but I think they'll succeed in the end.
Mhm.
Something will go wrong. And I had mentioned this again on Chaco's cast was because they're emphasizing how much they don't trust Cassian, which rightfully so. They don't know the guy. He just come in.
Yep.
Like they don't know what's going on. They're starting to question her now too because they're like, who is this guy? And she's fronting for
Right.
Luthen.
Yeah.
So it's like, what is actually happening?
Luthen said, accept him or call it off.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because Luthen, I like that he's like, she's in charge of the mission.
Yeah.
But obviously I'm a.
But he
I'm in
also
charge of
says-
her, though.
Show.
I'm also.
Right.
But he
I
also
can
says
shut
in-
he said I was
yeah.
coming in to shut you down.
Yeah.
He said, just I was coming in to shut you down.
Yeah.
But then this is an option that I think you
True.
can actually do it.
Mhm.
But she's also like, but this is some. Luthen even mentions that Cassian's like expendable though. Like he's not.
No, Luthen's.
He's just
great.
like, yeah, but you're right. And if it doesn't go well, guess what? We just found this guy.
the
It's basically
benefit of
how he
renting
comes
him.
off. It's like,
He's
yeah,
like, that's
guess
why-
what?
that's
And if
why
it doesn't
it's-
go well,
we don't
we
have a lot
just found this
invested
guy.
in him.
Who cares?
I have 200,000 credits invested in him. That's all.
That's why I'm so. I love his character, but I'm still getting a feel for like. I think even with him being so hardcore about get back at the
Are
Empire.
you getting at my boy Luthen?
what?
Are you criticizing Luthen?
No, I'm saying because he's
Because
so.
if you
I will.
are
At the-
criticizing Luthen, you're criticizing
me.
Mon Murma. No, it's
Mon
No,
Murma.
he's so
this is
against the
mispronunciations.
Empire, but he's still not just like an all good guy. He's not just
No.
like this
He's
is right,
intense.
this is wrong.
He is.
He walks in the door. Cassian has Karn there, and he goes, "Kill him! I'll kill him."
He did. I love
It's
it.
like
Mhm.
it's like it doesn't matter who
Kill
it
him.
is. Cassian's
No.
expendable. We're doing the mission, and I don't. That's why I say he reminds me of a Saw Gerrera.
Mhm.
It's like he's becoming this extreme. So I think we might see through this process a little bit of him dialing back
Yeah.
and becoming more of the good guy right before maybe we see the end of him because we don't see him in Rogue One. So I think if he is this mentor type guy to help
I
push,
think he's gonna last a while.
I think it'll last a while.
Yeah.
I hope
But
he does
I think
because
his
love
character
his
will
character.
develop in that direction
Yeah.
as Cassian grows too and dives more into the rebellion.
Yeah.
And because they don't trust him going into this mission, I think when the plan goes wrong, it will be an opportunity for Cassian to step up and prove himself that because even right now Cassian admits he's not bought in.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I'm just doing this one job.
Mm-hmm.
Like
He
that's it.
actually
I
says-
just got out of this.
He says, "You can do this, or I can drop you off." He goes, "Drop me off."
Yeah. He's like,
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
not
It's
bought
a
in.
Han, it's a Han Solo
Yeah.
storyline.
So I think part of this
Exactly.
mission is also going to be him starting to wonder, like, it's going to be a decision-making thing where there's an heir, he has to step up to the plate, and it's like, am I really diving into this rebellion thing?
you know what's gonna
like-
pull him in? I hate to tell you.
Tell me,
Tell me.
I'm gonna hate it.
I'm
The
gonna
Empire has killed his sister.
Yeah.
That's gonna pull him in.
Because
Because the first episode he's looking for her,
Where
can't
is her?
find her.
Where is she?
Can't find her.
I almost
It's going to
forgot about that.
become. He's
Yeah.
going to find out that the Empire is responsible for the death of his sister,
And
now he's
maybe
like-
all
I mean-
of them that were there.
or
It could be
everybody. They
Bix,
all
too.
came. Or Bix.
Oh,
Yeah. Dude, if Bix,
I think she has.
brutal.
I
listen,
think,
if they
Bix
kill Marva,
if Bix goes out, I go out. That's
They
my
kill
that's my
Marva?
rule.
the Empire kills Marva, and he finds out about it. Think if he kills Mom
Mom, Bix,
or his
Anybody.
Lord of the Flies friends.
Lord of the Fries.
well, I
Lord of the
just happened to
Fries.
think when you mentioned that.
Flies friends.
When you
Did I say
mentioned that,
fries? Lord of the
I had
Fries?
kind of forgotten that he spared Karn's life. That's got to be. There's a conflict.
Yeah, he did.
There's a conflict there
Yes,
with
true.
this guy who's this villain who's supposed to be a murderer. Didn't kill me.
Didn't kill me.
No.
I was his greatest enemy. I launched the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he didn't kill
And-
me.
He didn't. He spared my life.
Maybe he's gonna start wondering, what am I missing?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I'm partially.
I would have killed
responsible.
him. He's thinking that.
I'm partially
I would've
responsible for
killed
him.
Tim dying, but he has another cast who didn't like Tim.
That's true.
Good
Um,
riddance.
Yeah, there's just, and that's part of the reason why I'm loving this show so far. Is like I don't. There's not a clear. I don't know.
We don't know.
I don't know.
And the fact that we've got all these new characters at any time. Andor's the only one that's a guarantee.
To make it through the show.
Mon Mothma. Yeah.
Yeah.
To get to the end of this thing.
Yeah.
Every other character is.
Everybody else could be.
They can go out. Yeah.
Mhm.
And maybe that's why they have so many named characters, 200 of them, because people are dying in these episodes.
Yep.
Man.
Bunch of red shirts walking around.
Yeah, it's
Star Trek red shirts.
That's true.
They don't know
Yeah.
yet. Man,
Oh man, it's
yeah, I'm
Can't
looking forward to
wait.
this
so
mission.
good.
I can't wait to see him bust into this.
I love that
garrison
there's
and-
just different pieces too. Like
Mhm.
it's Andor, but it's not just like Mando is Mando.
Mhm.
It's following Mando. This is like it's Andor, but it's we go Luthen and Mon Mothma. Now
Mhm.
Andor's not there, but we're
Right.
following there. So we're introduced. We get Mon Mothma talking to her husband and talking about the trading routes or lanes getting shut down, whatever it is. We get these different story arcs and these character arcs of these.
It's
of
not a
some that we
first-person
know,
shooter.
like
Yeah,
Mon
right,
Mothma,
yeah,
and some
it's-
that are new, like Luthen.
Right.
So we're developing all these aspects, not just Cassian, to kind of build around
Yeah.
and give you a tone of like the feeling of the Empire, where we're at with things. They're moving in.
Right.
I just
It's
great.
similar to another show that's on right now that I really love,
Yeah.
Rings of Power. As far as the multiple not one central storyline. Again, Cassian is
Storylines
the
that
main
are
character.
that are tied
But it's
beginning
all
to
It's
end.
jumping.
it's all connected. We just
Yeah.
don't know how. We know these connect, and we know
Yeah.
these are moving in. I don't know yet how the Harfoot story connects and the Stranger
Right.
connects
Yeah.
to the for any Rings of Power fans out there.
Harfoots.
One of the
Nobody walks alone. Nobody leaves a trail.
Yeah. He starts singing the
Wow.
Harfoot song.
one
Yeah, here. That's how we're going to close today.
but a Rings of Power quote. We finish each week with a Rings of Power quote.
One podcast
The
to rule them
skies
all,
are
and then the
strange.
darkness find
The
them.
skies are strange.
Eyes are strange, are weird.
Anybody that hasn't seen this is wondering
This is
what is
great.
going on.
What's with the accents all of a sudden? But it's funny. I actually thought of Rings of Power a second ago because you're talking about Luthen, and it reminded me of this great Galadriel's talking about how her friends and her company mutinied against her because they could no longer recognize,
Yeah.
they could no longer distinguish
That's a Saw. It's a
Between
Saw
her and
between
the
character.
herself and the enemy because
Right.
she was
Yeah.
so driven on revenge that she's now crossing lines and doing
Yeah.
things that she normally wouldn't do. That it does feel
And that's
Saw.
more-
Obviously, we know
Crosses
Saw
lines.
crosses lines.
Yeah.
Luthen is interesting because I don't think he saw yet, but it feels like
No, but
it
yeah.
feels like it's definitely like if he doesn't get reined in or if he doesn't recognize it, like we can't be just if I think
we
this
need to be
happens in-
better than them.
we can't
We can't
just
just
if we just
counter them.
behave like them to defeat them, then are we them? Are
Yeah.
we just
Yeah.
them?
Yeah.
Because if we're just them and they're just us,
Which is a different version of the same
just
thing.
different
then we're all
versions.
just each
What's-
other.
We're all just each other. If we're all just each other, Kramer. If we're all just each other, Kramer. I don't know how it turns to Seinfeld, but
we are them,
always-
and they
they
are
are
us.
us.
It always comes back to Seinfeld.
yeah.
That's
but
if you
it's-
listen. If you get one thing, chat, out of today's episode, just know it's that if we are them and they are us, then we're all each other.
we're all each other, and we
Yeah.
are the world. We are the children.
It's my favorite Bruce.
We are
the children. We are the.
I love anyone who sticks around for this part of the podcast.
It goes. It gradually begins to descend.
Also,
5 minutes, we've gotten
into
Harfoots.
madness.
No, I will
We've
say,
gotten the Skoys are strange.
I will say, no comment yet in chat regarding our giveaway. If you guys saw our last episode,
I'm saddened and I'm hurt.
there is
Saddened and hurt.
there's a piece in the episode we mentioned it a couple times. First person to comment something, a code.
Nate was saying
gets
that
a
kind of
giveaway.
gold
Either
It was
a-
all a little gold,
a
but that's
phrase.
their first person.
First person?
gets
yes,
their choice.
comment.
Gets their choice of.
First person to
a,
comment, Gina Davis.
Gina Davis
Gets their
about
choice
7
of
feet tall.
Luke Skywalker, Grogu Funko, or hear me out, or a Star Wars. Wait for it. Phone case. Ooh.
This will just go off there. All right, here's you. So, Jarvis.
Everybody
gonna need
clicks
one of these-
away.
Gonna need one of these. Boba
But no,
Fett
seriously,
pet
though.
dispenser stat.
Honey, he's doing Robert Downey again. Get in here.
Again,
That's what
yeah.
they're doing.
The Skoys are
These
strange.
guys are strange.
Everybody's clicking
They're
away.
not strange. They were not Scottish either.
But no, seriously, if you're
Hey,
clicking
either.
away,
Scottish.
if you're clicking
Scottish.
away,
Now he's Mike Myers.
Do it.
Donkey.
if you're clicking away, I hope it's to go watch the last episode so you can get the code and come back because the first one to come.
We'll wait.
Yes.
We'll wait. But
And we're back.
Is the clicking usually that loud when they click away?
1,000 clicks.
what do we?
Across the galaxy.
What
Suddenly
do we
cried
think?
out in terror.
Will like
Bring this audience back to us.
yeah. No.
Yeah, rein us in.
What do we think
Nate, where can the people find us?
will start like next going in? So picking up where we left off this episode, going into
Yeah.
next episode, are we going to get a progression of start off with Cassian and that like are we going to get right into the mission? Do you think we'll get there next episode?
Yes.
Okay,
I
that's
do.
what I was wondering.
I feel like the mission is
I think
next
we got to
episode.
get in the next episode, and then the third one in the arc will be getting out.
Yeah,
The
so that's-
escape.
Possibly,
Maybe.
yeah. If we're doing
Maybe
the
the
3
escape.
I think
episode arc
this-
type thing,
Maybe.
I think the third episode will be getting out and setting up the big what's coming next.
Mm.
As far as like at the end of episode 3, it not only was like
or is it
cool,
out
we're getting
and
out of here,
then-
but it's like cool, we're getting out of here, and don't you want to be a part of something bigger than yourself?
Or is
he
like,
like,
oh, we're heading to
Does
something
this
else.
bring him
This
in?
is-
Yeah.
Mm.
So I think that's episode 6. I think episode 5 will be. I mean, that's just one storyline that's going on.
Right.
Because obviously, who knows what's going to happen
Right.
with Mon Mothma? Who knows what's going to happen with
I-
her dweeb of a husband?
I want
Perrin?
to yeah, seriously. And then in
With his
Luthen,
fun dinner
what's his
parties.
next step? It seems like he's kind of jumping around. Like he's not just going in on this mission. He seems bigger than the group that's going into to the mission with Cass. He's like playing different pieces. He's like, no, I can't stay here because I gotta go do this. And now he's meeting with Mon Mothma. That happens. What's his next piece? Is he gonna jump somewhere else? Are we gonna continue to see him now meet with someone else? Or
Do you know what I want to see more than anything? I just thought of it. I want to see a
the
Luthen dinner scene, Mrs. Doubtfire style, where he's hello, dear, and he has to he keeps going back to the bathroom and he
Run
keeps
by fruiting.
he keeps going to the bathroom, putting on the thing, and then smiles, and then comes out, and he has this elegant thing, and then he takes it off, and then he goes. And then he goes and he's like, yeah, so this is what we're going to do, huh? We're going to do this, yes, yeah. And then some, ooh, definitely, dear. Ooh, you know we love the Empire. Ooh. And just this whole, it's this Luthen keeps, I want to see this montage of Luthen going to the bathroom, putting on the wig, putting on his rings, then doing his little Joker smile.
He's
and
got to
then
be in
going
2
out there.
places at once.
And then he accidentally shows up.
with the wig on.
He actually shows up with
at
the
the
wig on.
Imperial Round
gotta get-
Table. He's
And
at the Imperial
and he's
Round
in front
Table.
of- he shows up with no
Oh,
wig
yeah.
in
He's
front.
just talking like
No wig. He's in front of the Imperials and at the Senate
Oh,
meeting,
yeah.
and he's talking about like.
And Mon
He's like,
Mothma's
yeah,
going.
so I got Clem over there, and he's doing this,
Clem.
and then like, and then he's like, oh, that's why that was weird. He showed up to the little Clem cookout with the wig on and everything, and He's just.
It's called the Clem Bake is what
How
they have.
many wigs does
Do
he
you think we
have?
could have some Clem chowder?
Clem
Some Clem chowder at the.
My
the Clem
God.
See, I know why Nate is torn, because he just came off of this real podcast where they were organized.
And now I'm
they
doing
plan
Mrs.
stuff, and
Doubtfire's.
They have insight.
Now
And we're
I'm-
doing Lord of the Rings and Mrs. Doubtfire.
Now I've done.
with quick changes
No,
because
This is everything but Star Wars
Skarsgård's
podcast.
I
got
have
2
cast the
2
very
dates to the park.
serious Stellan Skarsgård as the new Mrs. Doubtfire to replace Robin Williams. Oh my
Serious
goodness.
question
This
though.
is
Serious question.
great.
I want to know your thoughts.
Oh
How
my
many
goodness.
wigs does he have?
darling.
You look
beautiful. It was beautiful, darling. Any closer, you'd be mine. You would be closer. You'd be mine.
Harvey Fierstein.
I'm joining the rebellion. I can't stand. Any closer, you'd be mine. You'd be mine.
Anyone who's not seen Mrs. Doubtfire, this
just
maybe has
what
gone
is
the
happening.
most
Sit
off
around
the
and
rails.
putter.
What is
Rain on my
happening, chat?
parade.
Oh,
is
man.
happening?
That's the Easter egg that
best is-
wasn't shown.
The best
so-
is that I love
Mrs.
I
Bobby
love
Feinstein.
Mrs. Doubtfire so much that I know every single bit of dialogue,
So
every single thing
great.
you're doing right there. This
It's
is the This is
fantastic.
the Barbara Streisand. They're looking for the wigs and the nose and everything.
Oh, that's
So
great.
good.
It's a bowl
Love
of
it.
butter.
It all
Oh my
goes
gosh.
back. It all comes back around.
Yeah.
It's all about Star
Oh,
Wars.
I don't think I have the strength, but I do some scotch tape and some red hair dye.
Again, okay.
A blowtorch.
Nate, where can the people
Can they find us
Let's
if,
wrap.
if they still would like
if they
to.
still want to find us?
Yeah. If not, everybody, you can unsubscribe at any moment.
Make sure everyone knows about Chaco's podcast if you want
yeah,
to.
where can they find the real guys?
Listen,
You wanna
we
listen
may
to
just
Force
join
Unhand?
them.
They won't have us.
This
They would have you. They would have you.
Let's send in
The Star
1
Wars
minute.
guys come
Let's
up
send
with
in a
maybe just
5-minute. Like we're trying to, you know how like actors send in a scene
Yeah.
to the Academy, and this is to get nominated for an Oscar. This is the scene that the show sends in. This is our 5-minute bit that we're gonna
This is
send to
it.
other podcasts. This is how
This
we
is
want to
it.
be. This is how we want to represent ourselves.
Could we? I have another
Is
idea.
Any closer,
Any
you'd be
closer,
mine.
Could we change it to the Star Wars guys not cast because
Star Wars guys nonsense.
the non
Star Wars guys not.
Non-cast.
the not cast because
I like
we're
that.
different.
You have the
We're
you have the
different. We're
Jason
off the
Bateman,
rails.
Do things
Jason Bateman,
different,
Will
yeah.
Will Arnett, and Sean Hayes have the Smart List podcast.
Oh, yeah,
and they
okay.
said the reason we call it is because
It's-
there are other smart people out there,
Right.
and we are less smart. We are smartless. I'm like, oh, cool. That's
Smart
us.
less.
We are the
We're
non
not cast. Yeah. the
Other
not-
people cast their pods out there.
We
We are
reel
just.
them
We
in.
need to be. We need to be reeled
We're
in.
the uncast.
We've already been cast.
We've already
Cast
been
out. No, I don't know.
That's great.
Cast away.
Oh man.
This guy has
This
gone
is
crazy.
Off the rails. Nate,
What was that question you
where
had
can
again?
people find us?
Where can the people find us?
Where can the people
If they
find
want
us?
to find
if
us,
you want
where
to
can
find
they
us.
find us?
Listen, if you guys, it's not too late. If you want to go back and watch our previous episode and find the what is it? The phrase, the code phrase for the giveaway. First person to comment on this video. So go in the comment section of this video. If you're watching, you got this far. Comment the phrase from last episode.
Should we have another phrase?
And we'll do a giveaway.
Should we give another phrase?
Any
So
closer,
either
you'd be
that
mine.
one or a new one.
No,
Any
that's not
closer, you'd be
You'd be
mine.
That's it. I like it.
it.
There's a
no,
run
that
by
would-
fruiting.
No.
Ooh, then remember the kitchen stuff. Do not tip them, dear.
Phrase for next podcast.
Yeah.
Um,
Sure.
Blue noodles.
Blue
That's
noodles.
an Andor reference.
Should it be something in
Yes.
more Andorish?
More
than-
Andorish. Yeah, I think that maybe
Phrase you're looking for.
the first
War. It's a war.
Clementine. No, I said
What?
Clem chowder.
Clam chowder.
Anyone who comments Clem
If you
chowder.
comment
Clam
Clem
chowder.
chowder.
at right now, if you're listening right now, you
at
could-
Mon
Next
Mothma's
week,
dinner party.
So there you have it. Next week, this is great. Next week on our podcast,
Yeah.
a week from today, if you comment, first person to comment Clem Chowder gets their choosing of a Star Wars phone case or a Star Wars Funko, a little Luke and Grogu. Is this what's
and
this
we'll
from?
throw in.
That's Luke. That's
Is this
that's
from Book of Boba
that's,
Fett?
Mandalorian.
Is
Yeah,
it or is
Mando.
that Book of Boba?
Lu-
That might be Book of Boba.
I can
Oh,
tell
yeah,
you
actually
based
could
on the
be.
back. The Mandalorian collection. It
This
says
guy's
here.
dead to me. This guy trying to make me look dumb. This guy.
That Abaddon Boba
Mandalorian
Fett.
here.
Just
Yeah.
saying.
All right, this is the Mando
We
collection.
could,
we got Luke and
This
Grogu.
is the original deep fake.
You can, yeah, it is. I can tell.
It's a little
If you
blurry.
comment,
The
what is
mouse
it?
doesn't move
What is it,
quite.
Clem?
Clem chowder.
And I think
Clem
we should
chowder
throw in
next episode.
our Star Wars guys clam chowder recipe. We could put that in
Oh,
there. with,
yes.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It'll be.
we should
can
announce
do
that
that.
we'll be
Type
eating
that.
clam chowder next episode
having
on the
clam
podcast.
chowder.
If you don't already want to tune in, watch us talk with our
It'll be
mouths
us at
full of
Mon
clam
Mothma's
chowder.
dinner party eating clam chowder.
Gosh.
That's right.
There you have it. Clem chowder for next episode. That's the code for the giveaway. First person to comment.
How long are we
That's it.
gonna do these codes?
Well, this is only the second week. but
This is good.
It's awesome.
I do love it. We'll get it. We'll get it next week. Anyway, you can always find us on Instagram at Star Wars Guys Pod. We post updates on Instagram for the podcast. If for whatever reason we have a time change or something of that nature. Also, just some fun posts, updates for the channel and things on there. If you're not already subscribed, don't forget to like the video.
Like it.
Helps us out. Subscribe to the channel and turn the notifications on so you don't miss out on our future
smash
videos.
the-
Smash the notification bell. Quite right. Yeah, smash the notification bell. And yeah, otherwise, thanks for tuning in. Let us know your thoughts too. Drop them in the comments after we close here. Drop them in the comments or now live of what your thoughts are on Andor so far. What character arcs and things you're looking forward to most. And with that said, may the Force be with you.
Ooh, definitely, dear. Any closer, you'd be ma.
I had to.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
Ooh, and then you
Ooh,
remember the
definitely,
kitchen stuff.
dear.
Did you not tip them, dear? Ooh, it was a run by fruiting
Clem Chowder.
stew.
See you next time.